Hi, everyone. Welcome to Digital Experience Team Iteration Retro. Today is Thursday, April 7th. We'll go over some of the things that went well and things to improve on from the last 2-week period. First up, for things that went well, Tyler has the first point.
Yeah, for me it went poorly, but for Parker, like saved my bacon. So thank you. This is just praise to Parker. So we were doing a thing where we're like, oh, let's clean up all the stale images from the middleman repository. And I felt super clever, and I was like, I have this clever solution. It'll work great, and it did. It was like super fast, and like honestly, it's a great thing. Like I'll tell you about it some other time. But I started from a faulty assumption, and I ended up like deleting probably like 100 images that people actually needed in the repository. The thing that Barker did that was awesome is GitLab sub value is like two-way door decisions. I think it's under the iteration value. And like I was like, yeah, we could like delete like 200 images a day. I was like, we'll do it in batches, 200. And Parker's like, maybe 50. And I was like, okay, 50. And then which is great because when I needed to revert those changes, it like took like less than an hour, so we fixed it super fast. Anyways, thank you, Parker. You did a really good job of containing my cleverness, because it was not particularly clever. Justin, the best. This like I wanted you to come work with me again because I wanted these memes. You will all see a funny meme that Justin made for me in the middle of my frantic reverting commits. So thank you to the both of you.
This was like an instance where the template was super cleverly engineered in itself. So like we just didn't even think about it. And then it happened. We're like, oh, okay, I see.
I do have another clever solution, which I'll get to in like May, maybe. So, you know, we'll revisit. Maybe I'll be clever again. Mateo, I think you're up next.
Yes, I just wanted to say that I really like the approach that Nathan took for the migration of the pricing page, the creation of the issues where every issue is just one component instead of having one issue for the whole page. I felt that it really helped organize the work. And Tyler, I think you also have one point here.
Yeah, I just want to say out loud, I agree. I think like Nathan has really been holding it down in terms of like splitting stuff up, and like, I don't know, it's just like 1,000% easier to figure out what I need to do every week with him doing that. So so a +1 on the thank you. And also wanted to highlight that Megan has also been doing similarly, as well as I think you brought it up in the red, yellow, green section, Megan, that like we've been like collaborating really well. And like honestly, it's thanks to you like splitting it up in a way that's easy for me to like jump in and jump out and like, you know, not get in your way, right? So thanks to the both of you for being super smart.
I have the next one, and I just wanted to thank Mateo, John, and Lauren for helping me out troubleshoot the issues. I found that you were very helpful, and just wanted to verbalize that. So thanks. And we go to things to improve on. So Tyler, you're next again.
Yeah, this is like just a structural improvement. This is a huge meeting. These meetings have only grown, and they will only grow, right? So I'm hoping that now that we have like filled out that layer of management, that maybe these things will get split up into smaller groups. I don't know what the plan is for that, but just putting it out there into the world to people who could make that decision. I think that these meetings have grown too large to be useful and to add the value that they're supposed to add. So hopefully we can split them up, but that's for other people to solve for. So thank you. And then Nathan.
Yeah, so I want to say, not to scare anyone, but we have, I guess, one full iteration left. And while we're updating the refresh branch probably every day, we just need to maybe start QAing. And so I'm going to take like 30 minutes a day and then just go through and make sure, I don't know, fix odds and ends. But also remember that although we're only delivering like a handful of pages for April 27th, like all the pages got affected because of the new nav, because of the new styling. And so just to make sure that we're covering our bases so we don't crunch QA into the last 24 hours. But yeah, shouldn't be that bad. I think we got it. Lauren, I think you wanted to add on.
Yeah, I've got that epic there for like the full refresh branch review, so we can make sure that our UX teammates get allocated appropriate weight points in our sprint planning. So I think each of them should probably boot up an issue for themselves. And then we're gonna need, when we start doing the final review, like the week of that project will get really intense too.
I added a note there that mobile is not ready on refresh branch. Most of the components are like missized. So my plan was to at least redo my sections this upcoming iteration for mobile. So be gentle with your feedback on mobile. I think Jess is next.
I just want to call out because I'm pretty worried about getting image, really like illustration assets for or by our due date of 4/27 from the brand team. There's what, like 2-3 weeks max left, and we have pretty much nothing. And we've already tried to get those like DevOps lifecycle illustrations. We've been like trying to get them for like a year, and we had like an iteration of them from Matt like Q3 or 4 of last year, and just to get 4 of them took like a quarter. And so I don't know how we're gonna get 12 plus a homepage hero plus like whatever else we need in 2 weeks. Like I don't know how it's gonna happen. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer to it is either. So I guess my question is more like, how can we improve this in the future more than how can you figure this out right now? But yeah. And I think Javi, you had something about it.
Yes, just +1, but with content, especially because we're working on templates. Like templates don't work if you don't have content, like straight up. They just don't work because there's no variable content to show. And so is there a way to invite folks into our planning just to see, for them to see like how much of a priority this is? How can we make it less siloed in the future? Not just within this project, but for other projects in the future? What solutions can we have to make sure that content is not a bottleneck for our team's success?
Yeah, I totally agree. We definitely need to be planning with them, or even have someone from their team embedded on our team so like we can be a priority, because we're definitely not a priority for them at all. But we have these due dates that we have to like meet that we need their help with, and so it's like really a bit of a bottleneck.
I was typing a follow-up point. I think we should just come up with our own content if we're just, I don't want to wait till like the last day for us to get all this stuff. And I just like, our due date is in 3 weeks, and there's like, you know, for some of our pages, it's like, if we're not getting content, like I think we should just put up something and try our best to iterate towards it and see how that goes.
My last point was directly tied to this desktop screensaver I have. Answer your own questions. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get it. So what do we do? Not the answer we want, but
for
yeah.
images, would it be reasonable to ask Jam3 for a set of like 5, you know, placeholder type images that say something but nothing? Maybe not for the homepage, but you know, for everywhere else, because the stuff we saw today, I'm like, oh, we can use these in a lot of places until we get proper images. And then at least we have that. And then if somebody's not happy with it, we point them to making an issue for the brand team.
I don't know how accurate this is, but Michael mentioned in one of our one-on-ones kind of as like a throwaway, like worst case, we'll just take screenshots of our product and slam them in for now. So maybe that's a plan, that I don't know how serious
is the plan actually. So what the brand team wants to do right now is an MVC one where we take screenshots of our product, but it's not quite that easy. It's like we ran into the same issue like 2 quarters ago where it's like, okay, like what are we taking a screenshot of? And then within that screenshot, what are we highlighting? And I know like Matt and Cormac were going back and forth trying to figure that out. But like I said, it took them a quarter just to get 4 of those going. So I'm like, how are we going to do all of this, even if it's literally just taking a screenshot in 2 weeks plus everything else that has happened? That's where I'm like a little bit concerned. Like, you know, not in like, I couldn't personally even do that because I don't have access to all the functions of GitLab, even if I knew what they were. So like you have to bring someone else in who has the access, who can take the screenshot, and like it's a lot.
I'll get going with my next point in just keep time. Just a quick thing about the release team. I've been working a lot with them back and forth since we moved the homepage over, and they need to update their section that announces the new release. So I've gotten all their documentation updated, but now we're changing the homepage. It looks like releases might be living in the resources section at the bottom. I just need to make sure that I'm like linking them to a direct line that they can change their release number and their link to, and that stays pretty consistent. And I know that we're changing things. So just, putting it out there that hopefully we're able to kind of find a consistent place for that to live, and it won't change. So we don't have to keep changing the documentation for them. So it's something to keep an eye out for. I see Nathan typing.
Yeah, sorry, I just added something. I'm wondering if it's worth it to separate that YAML file instead of having a giant homepage one, to almost give them their own, then they can do whatever they want in there and they're not going to break the whole homepage.
Yeah, it's just that if the releases live in with all of the resources, that's an array of cards. So that does kind of have to live there, but I don't know.
I think probably I think what might be the most resilient process would be for now, because this would sign them up for more really we should read from them. They shouldn't edit us, right? So we should have a part of the next build step that pulls information from a place. I guess here's the thing. They can keep their process to some degree. There is a GitLab API that we can hook into and we can read from files. And so if we want to make this easy for them, we can we should learn their process. We should find out what data gets updated, and Nuxt at build time can pull from a GitLab API to get the information it needs, rather than having to get them to spin up our stuff and learn our new process and then coordinate with them as things change, because they will. Let's try and get them to a stable point where they're publishing data that we can trust and that is well defined, because it already is, because they've been doing it for years. So since their process is more stable than our process right now, let's have our dependency be on them, not the other way around. And this is the beauty of why why Nuxt is great, because we we can do fancy things with plugins and middleware to grab this data, and we should have some fallbacks. We might even want to cache it ourselves or something, right? And do something, so that we don't break it if it API is down, and then every build while API is down is broken, something like that. But we should ingest their data rather than having to get them spun up on our new stuff, which is sort of still nebulous, and I would be hesitant to tell them how it's going to be forever. And their information is much more stable than ours.
Sounds like something we can work on after April 27th. But for this upcoming release,
Yes.
this month, we'll do it manually, and then going forward, that would be great.
Yes. So yeah, sorry. That is that is, I think, the goalpost. It is perhaps not the today solution.
Cool. Miguel, I think you're bringing up the last point.
Yeah, it's just a kind of a self-reflection. I found that I go for the most complicated solution first, and I'm violating the I in credit, so I have to get back on track. So I'll be, as an action item, I'll be reviewing that section of our handbook. And yeah, I think Lauren.
Yeah, I just want to, give you praise for the iteration value, diving into it. That one MR about adding, multiple templates to one URL path is kind of a little tricky. There's a few different forks we could take. And so it'll be fun to figure out where we go.
Yeah. Thank you. That's it.
Yeah, I think we're at time, so we'll end the recording there. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next time.